overhaul. So, Ryan, give me your thoughts on these new coaches. I mean, out of all of them, which one do you believe will make the biggest impact next season in 2020?
The answer that it needs to be is Paul Rhodes. It's as simple as that. This defense, as we know, all they did last season was give up points from the opposing teams, and the way that's going to turn around is by Paul Rhodes simply just recruiting better at those spots and just being a better influence come game days.
Yeah, I personally am really excited to see the new defensive coordinator. Like I think the firing of Marcel Yates was long overdue. Like he was a solid recruiter. Like he seemed like a nice guy. Like everybody really liked him, but like just he had so much time to turn this defense around, and there was just no improvement. Like you can make the argument that the defense got worse every single year that he was here. Like it just seemed like excuse after excuse with, like, oh, we didn't have the guys we wanted to recruit, we had guys that were injured. Like you were here for, I think Marcel Yates was here for like 5 years, and just that's enough time to fix this defense, and he just never did. So like I'm really glad to see Paul Rhodes kind of step in, and especially hiring a coach that gets a full off season to rework his game plan into the team. Like, because when we fired Marcel Yates in the middle of last season, like Chuck Cecil came in and took over as the interim defensive coordinator, and we really didn't see a whole lot of the defense get any better. And like I don't really blame him at all for that, because you can't really come in and install a completely new defensive scheme in the middle of the season. So like I think now that you can't really fault Chuck Cecil for that, right? So like I think now that Paul Rhodes is here and he's had a full offseason, a very eventful and irregular offseason, but still a full offseason nonetheless. But for him to have that now to come in and kind of rework his game plan into the team, and I'm really optimistic about that. I also really like defensive line coach Stan Egan. I think that was a great hire as well. I think he has just a ton of coaching experience. I think I read it was 40 straight seasons of him being a coach somewhere. Like that's honestly super impressive. Like I know, bouncing around from program to program in those 40 years, that may kind of seem a little sketchy. Like, oh, why is he not staying at one program? But that's just kind of how college football coaching is. Like college football coaching is always a merry-go-round. It's always a carousel. So like for him to always find a job year after year, that really tells you something about what kind of coach Stan Egan really is. And, he's had a ton of experience along the way. He's coached, guys like Von Miller, Michael Bennett when they were together at Texas A&M. He's already got, coaching experience and chemistry with Aaron Blackwell when they were together last season at New Mexico. So I really like that hire as well. And I think that was a clear upgrade at that coaching spot for sure.
Yeah, Stan Egan, he was very impressive when I heard him a few weeks back at a press conference, and just some things that he wanted to put into his defensive line's mind this year was just tackling harder, making the right tackles, and just being more aggressive. And he brings that energy that I think not just the defensive line, but this whole defense needs. I think he's just going to affect the whole defense as a whole. Like he is such an energetic guy and brings, as you said, that 40 plus years of experience that people are going to respect. And I think he's going to be very good for this defense.
Yeah, I agree. I also kind of want to shout out offensive line coach Kyle Devan. Like he's not a brand new coach. This is his second season here in Tucson, but he's just done such a great job with this offensive line. Like he's done such a good job on the recruiting trail. Like, this is the deepest offensive line depth chart I think that we've seen for a while. Like it's so hard to build depth. I think the idea of having a lot of guys is kind of underrated. Like you want to have 5 good linemen, but you want to have guys behind them, right? In case one of them gets hurt. So like, I think that he's just done such a good job. Like, and it was just like, he's had pretty big shoes to fill, taking over for Joe Gilbert, who is now the offensive line coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So like, that was certainly some big shoes to fill when he came in, but he picked up right where he left off. And I think Kyle Devan is just doing such an awesome job so far. Like, and he's just such a great guy too. Like I was lucky enough to attend a fall camp practice a few weeks ago, and I was watching Coach Devan work with his offensive linemen, and he was just such an interesting coach to listen to. Like just the things he was saying and the drills that he was running. Like like I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but like I really liked him, and I really liked what he had to say and the way he was coaching the offensive line. He's very active on social media too. Like he's just a great guy. He's a great guy to have as your offensive line coach. So I think he's done a great job so far. I just wanted to shout him out real fast, just kind of give him some credit because I really do like what he's been doing so far.
Yeah, and the outlook of the whole coaching staff, I think they're in a very good place that they haven't been in a few years. As we just talked about, a few of the coaches and just the coordinators with Rhodes and Mazzone, like these guys, like these are like valuable, experienced coaches, and I think they got the right pieces around. I've been a little hard on Sumlin over the past few months. It's gonna fall on him, and it's gonna be able to see if the pieces can just fit together.
Yeah, I think experience is the strong suit of this coaching staff. Like we talked about Stan Egan and how long he's been coaching, but Paul Rhodes also has head coaching experience. When he was at Iowa State, he was he had his time as at UCLA as the defensive backs coach. What I'm saying is that everybody has experience and they've been in a position of power before. Like I think the defensive line coach before Stan Egan, I think his best his best thing on his resume was that he was the head coach at like some JUCO program. Like that's not going to cut it at a Power 5 program. So like I think that was just such a clear upgrade, and I just really like this coaching staff, and I like the overhaul that went down. I would have liked to see DeMarco Murray as our running back coach for a few more years, but he got the call from his alma mater at Oklahoma, so we didn't get to see him for very long. But that was a lot of fun seeing DeMarco Murray on the sidelines.
Yeah, I was sad to see him leave too. Was a great NFL running back and great college running back, and he also brought a lot of experience for being such a young guy.
Just the recruiting aspect of DeMarco Murray as well. Like if DeMarco Murray showed up at your front porch and was asking you to play for Arizona, like absolutely, I'll come play for you. Like I'll be wherever you are. But like obviously he's not here anymore, so we can't really enjoy that. But yeah, I really do like this coaching staff. I think there's a lot of experience, among these guys, and I think it's heading in the right direction. I don't think at this point there's any more excuses. I think we've built the right coaching staff. The athletic director Dave Hickey, they've put together the guys that they want. It's go time, right? No more excuses, no more. These are not the guys I want. These aren't the guys I recruited. Oh, these aren't the coaches I wanted when I first came in here too, right? Because Marcel Yates was here in the Rich Rod era when someone came in. So you can't make the argument anymore that someone isn't working with the people he wants to work with. Like it's go time for Arizona. Like there's just no more excuses.
Yeah, I totally agree. They got all the right young pieces, it seems, on the defensive end, on the offense. It's basically just gonna be able to see if they can do it in the next year or two. I mean, I don't think, like I've said, I don't think Coach Kevin Sumlin is going to be here. If they don't start to put some wins on the board, I don't think he's going to be here past next season.
Yeah, well, that is certainly